Hello, I'm Anthony Jackson, American living abroad. Today we're going to talk about Myanmar. I have been in Myanmar for quite some time now, and I have lived in many countries across Southeast Asia. And when I got to Myanmar, there was a lot of misconceptions about what it would be like to live in Myanmar. I thought it was going to be like a big civil war, and I wasn't going to be safe, and there's military everywhere. Well, the first thing I want to talk about is that situation. I have seen not one police officer or military anywhere outside of the one military checkpoint that I've seen outside of the airport. I have not been stopped or asked any questions with respect to the law or the police in any direction, and I'm glad to say everyone seems friendly. And as I kind of, walk around, I go jogging a lot, I noticed that this place, out of all the places I've ever lived, and I've lived in many, they are experts on love. You walk past the parks here, everyone's hugged up, holding hands, caked up with their girlfriends or wives and their families. It's absolutely beautiful. And sometimes I even see like spontaneous choirs, just people just breaking out into song in the parks, and I'm going to get some video of that, but it's amazing to see. The people here are friendly, but I wouldn't say the men are as friendly as, say, like Thailand. It's not the land of smiles, but they are friendly, very approachable, and even with the language barrier, you can have a conversation with them. It's not a big deal at all. And with respect to the language barrier, yes, the language is very difficult to read and understand. And you see like up here, it is difficult to see and to understand, but they have English spelling pretty much everywhere. Everyone has some like English ability. They know, the basics. They can kind of read the basic words, because the brandings are in English. You see a lot of American flags in the form of stickers, and they put the American flags in their cars sometimes. I still haven't figured out what that's about. A lot of American branding and American flags on their shirts and hats, so they're very familiar with the West. I do want to talk about what surprised me the most in Myanmar. The people here, they don't seem to be political at all, or they're not talking about politics with me, at least. And they seem to love the West far more than they love the East. If you ask a random Burmese person about what they feel about China, they almost never have anything good to say. But if you ask them about, anything American, like they're sometimes their eyes just blow up, especially if you start talking about Trump. Which they just seems like they just love to talk about that, Also, what I would say the biggest surprise to me would be the beauty in the women here. I did not expect that at all. I didn't have any expectations, but definitely out of all the places that I live, they have the most beautiful women here. And to be quite frank with you, it's really not that close. I've lived in Colombia, Vietnam, Thailand, and many other places, and in Los Angeles, of course. And for sure, the beauty here is just one of a kind. There's a guy here trying to sneak and see what I'm doing. But that was a pleasant surprise here. And also another very big surprise, that the electricity here, now that I've been here for quite some time, the electricity situation is getting a lot better now, such that the electricity goes off like 2 or 3 times a day. It goes off for 1 hour, maybe 15 minutes. It used to go off for 4 hours at a time. And but I've gotten so used to it that like air conditioning is just like, air conditioning, no air conditioning, it's okay. And I'm very proud of myself. I've been assimilating the best I can. It's not easy, but I've been assimilating the best that I can. And the people here, they love it when you enter in their shops. They love it when you spend time with them with no money. Like, you don't have to, have a lot of money. They just love, having outsiders. And I feel welcome every day. You know, I've never had any issues with anybody. Everyone I talk to say they have never even seen a fist fight out here. Far different from my upbringing in America. So I have a lot to say about Myanmar, but I have to choose my words, carefully given the current situations here and how quickly things can change. But let me just say, as somebody who's in Myanmar right now, feet on the ground, work here, and I eat their food. I shop at the same shopping centers. I don't live in a tourist area. I'm going to show you where I live now, and it's fantastic. Now, I can't speak to the history of this place because I live in a pretty big house now. Some might even call it a villa even. And I have barbed wire around every inch of the place I stay, and so do my neighbors and their neighbors and everyone else in the neighborhood. That was a bit shocking, but I got used to it. So let me just give you a tour. I'm on the streets of Yangon right now. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. People are you can't see, but people are staring at me right now. They want to know what I'm doing. Okay, so this is just an intersection, no one really cares about the traffic laws, but it's not as bad as, say, Vietnam. They do have chaotic traffic, but I've seen a lot worse. No motorbikes. You don't see a lot of motorbikes. They do have like electric or gas bicycles that you're about to see in the background here. 1, 2, 3, electric bicycle back there. But no motorbikes. You see a lot of cars here. This is a typical bar. Right here is a typical bar. Not a Thailand style bar with the ladies, and no, they don't do that here. The girls here aren't for sale the same way that we're used to in Thailand, if you lived in Thailand. Yeah, I'm just giving you a comparative. This is the bus stop right here. And the people here seem to be a mix of like Asian, East Asian, Southeast Asian, and even some South Asian. So you'll see the Indian phenotype, you'll see that classic Chinese phenotype, and you'll even see the more olive Asian, Southeast Asian phenotype here. A good mix of people here, such that even with my dark skin, I don't stand out here as much as I would in, say, Laos, okay, or Vietnam, the place that I just moved here from. Here are some of the stores. Notice how you see a lot of English letters. The stores have names, and the names are spelled in English, which is a bit odd, but I like it. They don't really have a lot of McDonald's and things like that, but they do have their own fast food chains. What do I think about the food here? Well, that's a video for another time. But yeah, let me show you what like some apartments look like. Look behind me. Okay, now if you're from America and you see something like that, yeah, it kind of doesn't look like much. But if you lived in Southeast Asia for many years, you see that as normal. Okay, this is what I'm about to eat now. I'll show you the place I'm going to eat. Looks like we're just basically like under a tent like this. And the food here is very cheap, obviously. I wouldn't be here if it was not cheap. I'm gonna show you. Delicious. Okay. All right, signing off.